Game of Thrones edition of the scenario.
Hip hop Game of Thrones edition.
Yes, are just black people. It originally started out as hip hop, but we turned
It's Game of Thrones for the culture.
Yeah, for the culture. There we go. I am Daryl Frierson.
Hold up.
This fool. Y'all know he eating.
I'm still eating.
Of course he is.
I didn't get hungry until we started doing the show.
I sat here, ate and everything while we were finishing up.
I didn't
all
want
this
to
work.
see you eat that Chick-fil-A.
So you had to keep it away from
I
you.
kept it away from myself because then I would go later. And I already had fried chicken strips earlier today, and I can't keep living that life.
Hey, it is what it is.
I'm about to be living that vegetables and.
Is that what the lady gonna have you try to have?
No, this is all me. My thing is
Okay.
all me. It ain't on. I'm not even. I don't even let it get to her because then she'll be on some truly crazy stuff. So like, I just take it on myself.
You have to do it by your own only because if she'll try to make you hold on to it, where it become a.
No, she wants to like. She's extreme. She doesn't do moderate dieting, and I'm not doing that. So,
So that
it's either that or set myself up to be in a position to lie, and I don't want to have to do that. So
Yeah,
when I inevitably fall off and do something I ain't supposed to, so I just walk myself into it.
All right, hey. So this is Game of Thrones. So
it's one of the most special weeks. It's a week that we've been waiting on for 2 years now. At this point, like legitimately 2 years, we've been waiting on the conclusion of Game of Thrones. And you know, like I don't know about y'all. If y'all listening to this, if you're listening to it still at this point, if you clicked on it, you probably are as big of a head as we are.
Mm-hmm.
But you know us, and you know how we get down. We are heads for hip hop. We're heads for pop culture. We heads for all of that. So we're just deciding to run all these worlds together with the big question: what if Westeros was black? Like, what if it was just brothers up and down throughout Westeros? Who would it look like? What would it be?
this is. I mean, we're not like as we always say before people get the tripping. It's not your cousin Earl and nobody like that. We have a category for that in the Black History Month draft every year. So you can wait for that for your time to chime in with your friend from Off Fair and Kasuth.
Indeed.
But this is not the time for that.
They would not be highborn people.
Right. There are people we wouldn't even know. There'd be just random people
They would be
on the Telltale game.
Yeah,
there's like the side characters you get to play with on the Telltale game, where you get to choose your mission with. Those would be your family members in this.
Rest in peace to the Telltale universe.
Yeah, man, them cats still looking for their checks.
That was a big loss.
Yeah, they let that go with people on month back on their checks too.
Somebody got to step up and fill that in.
Yeah, because I like those games.
Yeah.
Those games were cool. All right, so let's go and get into it, man.
We'll have some emails. We got a couple.
I mean, I want to wait because some people have stuff we're gonna want to talk about right afterwards.
We got a few minutes.
All right. So we're gonna go to our voicemail first. Voicemail from our homeboy Ronald Taylor. And hold on, we finna be into it right now.
Straight out of Lowcast, your boy BTG. Yeah, y'all absolutely right, goddammit. The homies go to the movies. We all go to the movies. Look, the wife is not going to. She's not going to see no horror flick with me. You know, she tried it with Purge. She got over that. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. You know, I mean, she's going to go see us because, you know, and she saw Get Out. But that's it. You know, her anxiety and panic attack and shit like that start flickering off. And she'll walk out that bitch. And I ain't got time for that. Because I'm going to watch the whole goddamn movie. So that's why you go with certain homies or whatever. 9 times out of 10, it's in the morning or the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? 2-seat space. And it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Me and one of the homies went to go see Crash. It was late at night too, and we sat about several seats away from each other. And that's when we bumped into Rashard McCants. Shout out to Rashard McCants, sneaking in at Snow Bunny in Santa Monica. But another thing, so when y'all was talking about cat shitting on St. Louis, the crib or whatever, I feel y'all because, you know, being from LA. When people move out here, it's nothing irritating than folks that come out here, they stay for like a year or two and either move back, and then they say, well, this is how LA folks is. No, you can't really fully know how a LA cat is just by living out here a year or two. It just doesn't happen like that. Why? Because, first of all, you got generations of LA cats. You know what I'm saying? Now, we got one government under one culture, but it's different, you know, like Compton and Inglewood is not the same city. Just like South Central and Compton is not the same city. You know, Watts is not the same. So, you know, it's LA niggas, but we stay in different jurisdictions, you know what I mean? So it's nothing more irritating than people coming out here saying this is how it is out here. But it's not. I think you would have to be raised out here somewhere around the 80s and in the 90s to really understand what was going on. And the crazy part is I've had cats move from the same state to LA, two different cats that say the total opposite things, but they knew how LA cats was. So that's all I know. It's not cool. It's not cool at all, you know what I mean? But, a lot of people are that stay in LA that's been out here for years, that's been out here since the 60s and 70s, come from the South. You know what I'm saying? My grandma and, the whole lifeline come from the South or the Midwest. Now, they would know more about LA than anybody, but I was born and raised out here. Certain things just don't go, But I feel you on that. And one cat that you cannot replace right now has got to be T.I. And not early T.I., okay? I'm talking about expeditiously T.I. I don't even know if that was a word. And if that is a word, I don't know if I said it right. But definitely expeditiously T.I. cannot be replaced. All right, y'all, I'll holla.
To you, BT the Great. You can check out his podcast, BT the Great. I know, shout out to you with your podcast as well. Movie thing, man. I think Crash is actually a movie you're supposed to take a white woman to. For the record, I was thinking about that as you said Rashad McCants was there with a white woman.
You think Rashad McCants was doing some education? Or is he
I just think that it's like a prerequisite. If you're not going to go with your homeboys, you got to go to a white woman.
But do you think that Rashad McCants was on that, or that just happened to be who he was?
No, I believe he's on that, but then he just happened to be part of the theme for the night.
I feel like he was just going with who was going to pay for him to go.
But he got paper in it, especially that time.
That's fine. But what's the easiest way to keep your money?
By not spending it.
Exactly. And when you born and bred down on Tobacco Road, there's a certain way you used to being treated.
Yeah.
And he's making sure he keeps on getting treated
the same way. Look, he was like, I came from the school where they're going to show me love like they do at UNC. The people disrespecting the crib. I mean, the worst is when people from here disrespect it and act like.
Oh yeah, like when people leave and they feel like they don't know how to act.
But then you go down there and actually see them and hang out with them, you be like, you actually in worse conditions here than you were in St. Louis. To be fair with you,
you're in tough shape. You make me want to leave you with a couple lunches. Like you make me want to go to the store and pack a couple of bags for you.
Right? No, maybe I'll bring some London and Sons for you, a couple of boxes.
No, I'm eating that. You don't get to move.
It won't make it by the time you get to Atlanta.
You don't get to move and get nice things. It's not. Yo, speaking of which, I was at the airport a couple weeks ago and they had 2 cases of White Castles open. They were searching his White Castles, making sure he wasn't taking nothing up out of there. Now, can you imagine running a finger through 60 White Castles? That's not a life I'm interested in.
So they were opening up them all?
Yeah, they were running their finger through the White Castles to make sure there wasn't nothing in there.
They had the gloves on at least?
Yeah, yes. Yes.
I can see it's been a nightmare where you like, fuck it, I don't even want this shit.
They weren't going 100% raunchy style.
I'm surprised the motherfucker didn't just try to check them.
I don't know. Do you want to check? Will they allow you to check White Castles? You'd have to put them in a soundproof bag, even though it's about to smell. I wouldn't even want to be able to hear that's going on in there. Can you imagine putting some White Castles under a plane and everybody get their luggage and it smell like some White Castles?
Oh yeah, everybody's fucked up in the game. But I'm going in knowing that all my clothes is already dirty, so I'm like, fuck it.
Oh no, you're going 100% scummy as is.
Yeah.
They pack their suitcase and they open it up and ain't nothing but White Castles in there?
White Castles in there.
Oh Lord.
Never White Castles in there.
Lord in heaven.
Shout out to all the people that's been hitting me up, letting me know if they see me anywhere else that I am on the Thought Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Thought Tour would be going international.
Yeah.
As I would be in London next week.
Pip cheerio.
Cheerio. I'm
chap.
Trying to find 21 Savage and Mother Redcoats.
Bring him back, dog.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring him home, baby.
He's here though?
Yeah, he's back here though, and he's not even technically from London. He's like one of those islands that were like London owned.
Oh, colonizer.
Yeah, it was a colonizer. He's not a full redcoat.
There's a word for that. That's called hostile takeover.
Yes, exactly. No, they hostile took over the island from the Native Americans, and then they brought niggas there in ships.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, shout out to all our brothers and sisters that are English but aren't English.
All right. Cool.
They weren't born in the UK, but they're under the European.
OGEs.
Oh, original English.
Yeah. Old English.
Old English. I wonder if that's what. Nah, I ain't going to Old English.
Shout out to Old English.
Shout out to Old
with
English.
With the E. Old with an E.
Yeah, that sounds to Old English.
That E makes that old a little bit older. Like that U in color makes it hurt more.
Yeah. Even though color ain't even spelled like that, but
when that U is in it, it hurts a little more.
Yeah, it's
like when you use the ER on the back of the other thing.
Yeah. I can see that. All right, let's get into it, y'all. We jumping in this Game of Thrones.
We're recasting it.
All black people.
For the culture. Like, think about it like if Game of Thrones was Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing right here. Now, we'll let you know.
And it's not gender specific with any of these people, too. No. So don't think of it. And sometimes some people won't match up people. So, for instance, we won't have someone, if we name someone as Ned, the person that they're dating will be
it's not going to make it. We're not doing this for crossover.
Some of them are crossing over, though. There are some, but that's very few.
We will let you know when that time comes along.
All right, first up, I'll go out the box. Arya Stark is Andre 3000.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, 3 stacks went back and became just a whole different person. But the trillness wasn't sacrificed. It just became a whole different thing. I mean, he was a many-faced man for a while there.
Yeah, I mean, and he was able to update himself, and you don't see him as much. He don't talk as much, and he's kind of just there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world to me. Let's do a little bit deeper dive. I want to save some of the big hitters for later on. So I'm gonna go.
We just want to start people out a little bit good.
The deeper dive. So we're gonna go back in time a little bit beforehand because all of this stuff started because of things that happened off screen.
There's some kids that's almost 10 years old now since that show came out.
Yeah, no kidding. So we had to, it's like you had to know what was going on. So I'm gonna go back to the Mad King, and we decided that the Mad King is gonna be 50 Cent, none other than 50 Cent himself. Now the Mad King was King Aerys Targaryen II. He burned people with wildfire.
No, he was planning to.
Oh yeah,
Jamie jammed him up before he got it done.
That's right.
Jamie jammed him up.
He was the one that was screaming, "Burn them all!"
Yep.
In the hall.
And then Jamie jammed him up before he could get it all the way out.
Yeah.
Actually, Jamie might have been the one that had to go tell everybody else and jammed him up.
So the thing about it is, we looked at that as being 50 Cent because we're like, 50 is if like the Mad King had social media, it would look a lot like 50 Cent going on.
50 Cent is on there. Shout out to Tierra Morito, who made a song to 50 Cent recently, because he's been I don't even know if it's harassment. What is a level above harassment?
That's called stalking and kidnapping.
It's got to be something above that even. This is what 50 Cent, not without putting your hands on somebody. What is
crime
it?
of passion? I don't know.
No, because 50 Cent is literally every day he posts pictures of random stuff and tags Tierra Marie, be like, "Bitch, I want my money," because she's trying to sue him and said that she was slanderous, and when she got caught on that sex tape,
she got slandered.
She claimed it,
but she says that was slander,
right? And because he was making fun of her for getting caught on the sex tape, and it was saying that it was porn because it was like revenge porn. But then they found out she put it out herself. 50 returned fire.
Did she?
That's what they claim. Yeah.
So she dropped it herself, trying to get the rub.
Right, and then 50 turned around and sued her for like $150,000 and won. So that's why 50 is always every day or every other day is on there like, "Bitch, I want my money." Literally, those are the posts like every other day, and like he'll make little funny memes with them and stuff, and like take her picture and put them on things like, and he's deliberately every day. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what level is above like stalking, harassment.
That's prime petty. That's like as petty as you can possibly get.
Like the Mad King, who burned up Ned Stark's father, and Brandon Stark choked himself to death trying to get to his father because he had his neck set up on a collar, and he was strangling himself on the collar. Mad King, man, he's the Mad King.
Yeah, real thing.
I don't think that. I mean, even though it was a struggle for us with that one, honestly, to choose him as the definitive Mad King.
I don't have as much about the Mad King as I could. Like DMX could be the Mad King. I mean, like, just completely, like, what's going on here? What's wrong with you? Like, why are you doing these things? Like, DMX is just as easy, but I'll need the 50 to be a part of this. Like, I felt like it would be incomplete if 50 wasn't a part of it. Even though I feel like 50 has some logic to the stuff he does. He's a troll, and you know what he's here to do. Like, so, I mean, and he's very good at his trolling, so you know what it's all about. But speaking of the Kingslayer, if we're going to talk about Jaime Lannister, we might as well talk about another king. Because in my mind, at least, man, Jaime Lannister is LeBron James, dog. At the very least.
Why do you say he's the? Why do you say that?
Because, man, like, their road has been the same. Like, Jaime Lannister is the chosen one, right? Like, he grew up, with all the nice things. Like, LeBron didn't have that, but I'm just talking about his basketball career. You know what I'm saying? Like, so LeBron was already that guy. he showed up to the league. People was like, yo, unmatched hype. Still, even with Zion coming out, the hype ain't nowhere close to what it was for LeBron showing up. So you got all this hype and all that, but then boom, you get stuck with the Cavs. You think you're going to turn that around, and guess what? You got your hand chopped off, bro. You got to get out of here. You got to go on a redemptive journey. So, you go and do all them things, and you end up with the Heat. You're in a better place. Life seems sweet.
So you're saying having Daniel Marshall got his hand chopped off?
You're having Daniel Marshall and Eric Snow, and when they said we're going to go upgrade the team, and they went and got Anton Jameson, that was the moment LeBron got his hand cut off in Cleveland.
Okay.
They said, we're going to go do some big things. They got Amari Stoudemire and Anton Jameson, and I was like, oh, no. Wait a minute, Amari Stoudemire never actually went there.
No,
they were going to go get him.
Yeah,
it was Amari Stoudemire, and they went instead. They ended up with Shaq and Anton Jameson. And I was like, that ain't what it really is, bro. So he got his hand cut off by Cleveland. Went down to Miami, got his swag back, got his little golden hand, which was his rings, essentially. And then after that, he decides there's nothing more for me to do here. He comes back home again. He's the man on Castle Rock. Mm-hmm. He gets a brand new Valerian steel sword. You feel like Jamie's on top again. But then boom, things go wrong. Cersei's the queen. You went and sent off and let her daughter die. You didn't get there in time. You're in bad graces, right? So now you head out into the world on another adventure, which is called the Los Angeles Lakers. And now we still don't know how that's going to work out.
Because you outside the wall. We don't even know where you at now.
Exactly. Now, you almost got ate by a dragon trying to take out Daenerys, but then your homeboy Bronn came and saved you. Like, it's been an up and down trip, even though Jamie has been, a big name in these streets like Bronn has. It ain't always been smooth sailing. So, Jamie Lannister is LeBron James, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Let's go into Bronn since you mentioned him, man. I want this to be two people now. You go ahead and announce who we originally is. Bronn. I'm gonna give you who it really may be.
Well, for me, Bronn is the apex predator of Game of Thrones, nearly with the exception of like the Night King, who we'll get on that later as we head north. But for me, Bronn is Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler's only in this for a few things. Jimmy Butler's in it for coins and for a little bit of shine. He ain't happy staying in one place. He's not sticking with one side. The loyalty ain't something you necessarily have to be waiting on Jimmy Butler to come away with. And that's how it plays out with Bronn. Bronn is so a simple man. He's like, if you want to make me a knight, sure, whatever. I don't care about none of that.
Do I get to get a castle?
Do I get a castle? Do I get some women? And are you going to pay me? Which essentially his values are the same as Jimmy Butler. So he's the apex predator, Jimmy Butler.
I was going to say Damon Jones. I thought about this as you were talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because he keep in mind, and I believe Bronn is older.
Damon Jones and James Jones.
Both.
Together.
Yeah, because they both made careers and their lives off of that. Became sirs. Mm-hmm. Not Damon Jones was commentating on NBA breaking stuff. I'm like, when did that happen?
It pays to be lined up with dope people, right?
So shout out to Jimmy Butler and Damon Jones, our Bronns.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, man, I'm gonna dive even a little bit deeper though for people. The Brotherhood without banners.
Mm-hmm.
Dipset.
Yeah, for sure. They just walk in the countryside on their own stuff.
They own their own thing.
Yeah.
They wear their own clothes.
Yeah.
They got their own way of doing things.
They literally run their own life.
And they really don't have nobody necessarily are fighting.
No.
It's kind of like anybody that kind of just comes around.
Yeah.
Like,
whoever we come across that isn't in compliance, we taking on.
And that's what Dipset would do.
That's exactly what Dipset has done for years now, with no worries and no problems at all about it.
And mentioning Dipset, Barack Donurian, which is the brother that keeps on coming back to life. We're gonna make that Cameron.
Okay.
Cameron continues to come back to life in his career.
Yeah.
He's had multiple careers. And people still love him.
I do. I'm right here.
Like I'm saying, dude, people love Cam. But he want to constantly just run around with the Men of Banners. He could have been switched his career over to acting or something like that. Nah, he want to run around with other cats from the Brotherhood of Banners and just fuck with people. Mm-hmm. That's all he wants to do. Just bring me back to life and let me fuck with people. This is enough to fuck with people and just keep it moving.
Yeah, he just wants his relevancy sticks around with being the fact that I'm just gonna just Jones people into the ground every once in a while.
Mention another person from the Brotherhood of without Banners. I've had him pulled up here. Hold up.
You talking about Thorough Samir?
Thorough Samir. That is the great Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Jim Jones, we kept that actually within the family. We was like, we can't split them up.
Nah, keep them where they need to be.
Keep them where they need to be, man.
Rest in peace,
yeah,
though.
he's always got Cam back. Sometimes he acts disgruntled with the Cam, just like Jim Jones does. You know, it's a whole thing of like, you know, he helped Cam resurrect his career a couple of times himself, but his career never came up to the same, level as Cam's. You know, and it is what it is with him, man. He went on his own for a while before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's hit these. Let's hit a couple of the families that are like in the area here. So let's start with let's start south and move north, because we know the threat that looms eventually at the end of all this. If you've been listening to this show,
you already know who it is.
You know where this is all going to end up, where the battle's going to come down to. But let's go south, and let's go to what's further south, Dorne or
Dorne is the south.
Dorne is the furthest south, right? So who do we got here? In Dorne?
Who do you want to go with first?
I don't know. Just throw one of them out there. We got a ton of them.
Sand snakes.
Okay. I mean, if anything's been more clear to me in life, it's who the Sand Snakes are in this version of Game of Thrones. And just to remind you who the Sand Snakes, that's the family that came. It's the family that came from Dorne.
Who else has 3 people in their family?
Exactly. So this is Oberyn Tyrell's, not Tyrell, Martell.
Yeah.
like the drink. So
that's how I remember his name.
Yeah.
That's the part.
It's the Martells and all the folks down in Dorne. You know, the only people with a little bit of color on them in Westeros. You know, which stays true to get closer to the equator. You get a couple people with a little color on them.
And these people look like they may have been cast directly for these characters.
But the Sand Snakes are the Kardashians, man.
And Ellery Sand is Kris Jenner.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's nothing else.
I don't think there's anything that's clearer in life than that. Like, you could have a couple more Sand Snakes for the younger ones. You know, for Kendall and Kylie.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but
he had a whole bunch in the books. He had like 8 girls.
Exactly. So I mean, you got Courtney, you got Kim, and you got Chloe, and those are all the most beautiful women in the world. Oh no, that's what they called themselves. Yeah, and they took a tough L in the end.
Some real tough L's in the end.
But I think that the most important thing is to dive into Kris Jenner here, because Kris Jenner is definitely hilarious.
Yeah, orchestrating stuff, moving it around, making sure this still keep going. Mm-hmm. Super loyal to the name. She's loyal to the name of Martell.
Yeah,
more than she is loyal to anybody else. She's loyal to the name Martell.
She's more loyal to Martell than you are to those Monacos.
You damn right.
And that's a lot of loyalty.
Very loyal.
How many Monacos you drank this week?
1.
Do you have like a garage full of these things, don't you? Because
No,
I've never seen them anywhere else.
No. I bought 2 cases though at the liquor store down the street.
Are you brewing Monaco up?
No. I wish I could.
Like in the house?
No, I'm not doing that. That'd be dope about doing that.
You start making your own liquor?
Yeah.
That's like a pastime for when you like 57 years old.
Liquor.
Like you just like, I don't have anything else to do when I get off.
To figure out how to do vodka.
I've been getting complained at for 30 years in my own house. Let me just start making some corn whiskey.
I'll put my eyes out.
So if we're gonna sit there and talk about the Martells, though, I think it's time to touch on Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper, who had a tough loss in the time he came to King's Landing. But you take this one.
Mr. Dame Dash talked a lot of shit, but he was right about a lot of it.
Yeah,
just used to talk a little bit shit, just a little bit too long.
He just picked the wrong time to talk his shit.
And then in the company, everything that he worked for got pulled up in front of him, and we ain't seen him since. I mean, we seen him since, but it ain't been the same Dame.
Yeah,
thing we got is a watered down dead Dame.
Yeah, it's you left the ice in your soda too long, Dame.
Dude, I wish his kids
but
don't
but
know
he did
how
go
big the Dame was though.
But he did go to that concert and request his bread with no concerns.
He did that a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but kids now don't even know how big Dame was and how much Dame moved the culture or whatnot. And that's why I said he's Oberyn Martell, man.
They'll learn. You gotta learn about him at some point. He's part of the master's class, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I hope. Well, if we're gonna talk about them, then we might as well go ahead and hit the man that brought Oberyn Martell's days to a close, and that would be one. What's the mountain's real name? Gregor Clegane. What is he?
Actually, I didn't put him on there.
Oh man. Well, for me, Gregor Clegane is Suge Knight. For me. Because he was about pure mayhem. He wasn't listening to nobody else, and he was shaking things up constantly.
I want to say Charles Oakley. He shout out to him who just still got voted in athletic as somebody they didn't want to see. He hasn't been in the league since 2003.
Charles Oakley.
3% of the players voted that they didn't want to see him. Like, who you scared of the most in the league?
Like now?
Yes.
Yeah, if he was in the league right now, he would get...
No, I'm talking about right now. Like
I know, if Oakley was in the league right now...
got 1.9.
I believe it. There's no G's in the league now.
Yeah,
There's a couple goons, but there's no G's.
Yeah.
Like Steven Adams is a goon.
James Johnson won.
James Johnson is definitely a goon.
He won, and then Adams was next.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I saw what you're talking about. Yeah, but I mean, there's that cats. There's got cats like Boogie. Boogie's more like that KG type gangster though.
Yeah.
Even though I think Boogie will put some hands on you compared to KG.
I think Boogie's got a little bit more to lose though than those other cats.
True.
Actually, those cats have way more to lose because they only they working on 10-day contracts. Like James Johnson came from the D League.
True.
So I mean, he can't go back.
Yeah.
So he may not put no hands on you. Yeah, the Boogie got a couple of nice contracts.
So
you might think it might be worth it.
While we down south too, let's just go ahead and head over to the to my guys, the guys who ride the horses. This is the name.
The Dothraki.
The Dothraki. Thank you. And Khal Drogo, man. I mean, I feel like this is a natural thing. Khal Drogo didn't speak English. He was purely about that action, but his heart opened up. He learned to love by the time it was said and done. It's The Rock, man. I mean, The Rock. It's just basically the Scorpion King rehash. It's like
is it all the Malvias? Is the Dothraki?
Yeah, it's all the Samoan wrestlers.
That's what I'm saying. All of them, the Usos, everybody. Right?
Usos, all of them. Like it's just all the Dothraki are just the 8,000 Samoan wrestlers that are all related to The Rock somehow.
Mentioning wrestling, one of our listeners, asked. Versus Twitter, how do you feel about Kofi Kingston winning the belt?
Oh man, shout out to Kofi Kingston. That's an awesome win. It's a win for the culture.
He said how big he was asking how big is that him winning in the pantheon of black champions? You feel?
Well, I mean,
I guess we got to see how long he got the title.
Yeah, let's see what this run is all about. But I think the fact that he got the push behind him and he got up and got a chance to even have that that moment is huge.
I was reading it. He's the first black person to win the title at WrestleMania.
No, it's not true.
They said he's the first black person to win the title.
Oh yeah. Because when The Rock beat Steve Austin, it wasn't for the belt.
Yeah. But he's the first black person to win the actual
title.
Hey
man, that's awesome. I mean, I'm always about that. That's the biggest stage. That's the biggest stage to do it on, man. And Kofi done paid his dues. I always love to see people pay their dues and get the rub. I mean, from what I can count, I think it's the 4th black world champion in the WWE. So it's dope to see that. Mark Henry, Booker T, and The Rock all have been world champions. But I mean, it's always amazing to see that whole thing. So
Ron Simmons was over in
WCW, NWA. I'm sorry. So yeah. I mean, you have other people that won titles. I think Junkyard Dog won a title down south. You know what I mean? So I mean, you got
but not world title.
But the big title up north. Yeah, that's a
Bobby Lashley never had it.
No.
Okay.
And I think he had the Intercontinental once.
Oh, he's the ECW champion. I think.
Yeah, he did get that.
Yeah.
He did get that. But yeah. So shout out to The Rock, man, and for being the king of the call of the Dothraki. There's a lot of words in that goddamn thing. Let's see what else we got down here. Let's hit a few of the lower people here, so we can move on to some big hitters.
We can start. Let's go out east, man. The Sons of the Harpy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the littles. Lil Xan. Little Scrappy, and Little Scrappy's our age, man. But I mean,
he was in the early.
He's just Scrappy now, though.
He was in the early run of the Lils.
Yeah, but I mean, we talking about the Little Skies, Little Yachty,
Little Rainbow.
They got.
Is that a rapper? I know it's a drink, but
it's a whole bunch. All the Lils and all them YBNs and all them guys. Mm-hmm. Those are all the Sons of Harpy.
Okay.
You don't know who they are because they all are indescribably different. They're indistinguishably different from each other. You don't know the difference between all the Lils.
Okay, we got that. So while we talking about them, we might as well hit the Gold Company too.
Yeah.
And the Gold Company, was who?
The Wu-Tang Clan.
But who were they on the show?
Oh, the Gold Company is the people that Cersei right now is sending out forward to come down and try to basically mercenaries that don't lose it, they don't quit on the job type thing.
Exactly.
They like the A-Team, but like a big ass. Army of them. They don't lose. They don't go home until the job is done.
Yeah, until everybody's dead or the job is done.
Yeah.
One way or the other. So
but they don't mess around with their payments either. And I don't know how long Cersei bread is for them.
So there's a chance that Cersei could be bringing her own demise to the Bay.
Because she ain't got them bread.
Because that bread is not coming.
No. And if Dany or one of them like, how about, because they're former Targaryens, a lot of them are half bastard Targaryens.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody like Daenerys come around and say, yo,
Have we seen them on the show yet?
no. They also have legendarily wise, they have the only other Valyrian steel sword.
Okay.
In there, because it's called bittersweet or bitter blade or something like that.
Okay.
And it's one of them has it, and it's been passed down. Probably.
I like bitters in my Manhattan. I prefer that.
So that shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan. It was the Gold Company holding it down for us on that side. Ran by the great RZA as the man.
I could see the Wu-Tang Clan hopping in a boat and heading on down to collect some bread.
Yeah.
Hoo-dee-hoo!
Exactly.
We're on the way down.
You think somebody's ever shipped the Wu-Tang Clan out on a promotional thing for a concert?
Yeah. Wu-Tang Clan look like they'll still put some flyers on your car.
Yeah.
At least you
The
guys
street
would.
team is. Think about it. And think about this. If every one of those people have at least 3 friends that are not friends with other people, that's 27 people that are rolling with y'all minimum at all times.
Right. Exactly.
Because all 9 people are not all friends with the same other people. 3 other people, but oh man, I'm gonna get Chris, Ala Raheem, and Power. All 3 of them rolling with me.
Yeah.
And then some other Wu-Tang Clan names.
I just felt like the Wu-Tang Clan just created people along the way. Like, I just thought that every time I saw the Wu-Tang Clan, it was a different dude I'd never seen before. Like, I thought
like
the Wu-Tang,
Capadonna,
I thought the
Sons of
Wu-Tang Clan
Man.
was like at least 75 deep when I was coming up.
They gotta be. They are.
Like,
They had the whole company, Wu-Wear. They employed all them people. And
yeah. So I mean, they on the way to King's
Gold
Landing.
Company, man.
Wu-Tang Clan. If a boat full of
Gold Company and see what happens.
if a boat full of brothers hopped off in King's Landing this season, I would probably fall on the floor and die.
Dude, that'd be perfect though to a certain extent.
Like a boat full of brothers.
I might have to
up.
stop watching for weeks just for I can keep watching at one point and not and binge it. After I see some black guys jump off, I gotta check out for a few weeks to get myself together.
Yeah, that would be it for me. All right, so let's just wrap it up while we're down there. The Iron Bank. Ooh, we're talking about that money.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Bank.
All them Harlem drug dealers.
All the Harlem drug dealers from
Name
that
them
link.
all of them.
From the link that we sent you about the story of hip hop in Harlem. All of them cats are the Iron
we
Bank.
can go farther than that. We can go back to the Nicky Barneses and
Bumpy.
Bumpy and all them cats,
Yeah.
man. If you want to go farther back, them cats always had a bank up there.
Yeah.
They had a bank for you, and they don't let them come back and collect. Don't let them come and collect.
No. Don't bother them with that. So now we're starting to move further north now. We're starting to get to some different characters and some things like that. Let's slide over to, speaking of Targaryens, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's get to the Mother of Dragons, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, do we want to do that now or do we want to save that one for later?
We just flowing, so we kind of.
All right, man.
All right, you know what? Let's go with Let's hold off on her.
Okay.
First,
Because that's
going
to
to
be
brother. Let's go with her brother first. Did we put her brother in Varys? Viserys, yeah. Yeah, Viserys.
Yeah, because I mean that's still kind of the story of the Khals and
Yeah.
the Dothraki.
Kyrie Irving, you said.
Yeah, man. Kyrie Irving got to be Viserys, man, because Kyrie, for his entire career, has been screaming about how he want to be the man and how it's going to come to him. He was so upset when LeBron came back to Cleveland because it took his team away that he left to go to Boston, which ended up not being his team either, and now he mad again and want to go somewhere else. Because he's the rightful king, and he should be the number one option. Nah, dog. You just need to realize sometimes there's no shame in being number 2. Viserys didn't get that, and he got a pot of gold poured on his head, son. He got the Ultra Al Green treatment.
Ultra one. Yeah. Next up, Barristan Selmy. The great Big Daddy Kane. He's an old school player. Been doing this a long time.
The thing we got to remember, here's the thing to remember, though. Most people don't know people's names on Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
So every time we say somebody, we have to describe who it is.
Barristan Selmy was Daenerys' number one bodyguard, the only general.
He was the one that got thrown out of King's Landing
for still believing in the kingdom of the Targaryens being able to be running it.
Right.
He still believed that a Targaryen should be on the throne.
Yeah, and they got rid of him when they threw Ned Stark into captivity.
Right. And so then he got out of there and went and found Daenerys.
Right.
And started working up under her tutelage.
Right.
Then he got murked out but it murked out like 50 of them sons of Harpy and Lulz.
After he took a couple of them out, though.
Right.
Well past his prime.
And you see that's what happened with Dick Daddy Kane.
Yeah.
Just all the littles, just
Yeah.
over shouting them, just over the amount of them, just
Yeah.
all the littles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too much for the great fathers of hip hop. Them littles, them damn sons of harp.
It was a different era, and it came to get him. Speaking of which, let's stay in King's Landing for a second before we ride out. Let's go to Maester Pycelle.
Yes, sir. Maester Pycelle. Russell Simmons, man.
Maester Pycelle was the corrupt old head that was the lead counsel on medicine affairs and things like that.
And he's a priest from not Old Town. From where the main keep is, where they keep all the records. And so he's basically like a priest from the Vatican. They send out to every different region, and he's the one for there. But he moved up to be on the council. Right.
So he's Russell Simmons because
Russell Simmons has been through a lot, man. He's looking real creepy, but he's got a gang of knowledge, and he's gonna be sitting on the board of all this money and understanding of what's going on. But it looks real creepy right now. And there was scenes, where he was sitting in the bed with 4 or 5 young ladies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was a lot going on with the brother Russell Simmons, and we haven't seen him. Just like Maester Pycelle, we haven't seen him either.
Yeah,
he got murked out, but still, we haven't seen him.
Yeah, he was part of the big sweep.
Yeah, that straight up castration of King's Landing.
And speaking of people that got swept up out of castration of King's
I thought you were gonna
Landing.
go somewhere else when I was trying to throw you the
Wait, what? That's where I was at.
Okay,
That's where I was at. So there's only that next. It's the Unsullied.
Well, I thought you were gonna go to the other person on the council.
Who?
Varys.
Oh, good call. Take it.
Yeah.
Take it. I don't think about him as down there anymore. I looked at him as a different part of the story.
Yeah.
I was gonna get to him later.
Varys is Wendy Williams.
Varys is the eunuch.
Yeah.
Is the one who basically got his stuff cut off, and now he's the spy master.
Right. But he had spies everywhere, knew everything. Wendy Williams had all the dish, the sweets. Now, she lost all her birds. Her husband had a baby with his side chick for 10 years.
Wait, I don't feel like
That's
I've
the
known.
last couple of weeks. Yeah, that's why he put her as Varys.
She having a tough run.
Yeah, she just had a couple of breaks. She took another break from her show after a break.
How you can't take a break from a break?
You just was off 2
Ooh,
weeks.
Lord, I'm not on enough vacation. I gotta take a little more.
Her husband had a baby with his side chick, but he been messing with her 10 years.
That was his second family. He was just
She
doing.
just had a baby too, though, a couple of weeks ago. That's why she's having this breakdown.
He was just doing it like people granddaddies used to do when
And
they
you
got
gotta
that other
think,
family around the corner.
Back in the day, she would have had the little birds. They would have told her what was up. Them birds ain't chirping, and Varys ain't got his birds no more.
But she done lost the juice now.
Lost all of it, man. So that's why Varys is the great Wendy Williams.
Well, that's fair. I could actually see her dressed in that fit too.
Oh yeah.
Which is hey, whatever. Get you, float your boat, whatever floats your boat. Well, so we're talking about people that have that affliction as well. Let's talk about some. You know what? No, we can save them for when it is to paint the full picture of what Westeros' Daenerys is looking like. South Central Westeros that we got going on here. Let's go to the Tyrells.
Okay.
Let's go to the Tyrells. Then again, the Tyrells were the family that was trying to marry in with the Baratheons, with the Lannisters to get the power down at King's Landing.
They really weren't necessarily I don't even think they were their
It didn't work out well.
Yeah,
either way.
I don't think they were even their not rivals. The ones that they weren't really aligned with the Lannisters pre-war. They just did it because it was they was the only one kind of left out there, and he was like, y'all want to kind of be down.
I mean, they was on some get down and lay down type stuff. Yeah. So yeah, they were 100% with it. So anyway, so Tyrells, you took care of this one, so I'm gonna leave this one to you to jump into this.
All right. So Marjorie Tyrell is Amber Rose.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of bounced around, moved on up.
Regardless whoever was in the chairs, who she was on.
Right. And say what you want about Amber Rose, she does have her own talent, but she did use them situations or at opportunity as well. Same thing with Marjorie Tyrell. She was stupid intelligent, but she knew about it, how to make them moves though to better move her way up through this place called Westeros. And I think that's
same thing for this one in Westeros.
Yep. So then next up we have the great Olenna Tyrell, her grandmother, and I think that's Jennifer Jones of the great Blackish fame and a lot of other films and movies.
St. Louis,
from Kinloch.
Every bit of Kinloch too.
Oh yeah, you could tell she's so Kinloch. Yeah. And she's was on Different World too back in the day.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy that like it's been like that long. And then the final Tyrell we have here is Loris Tyrell, who was a bit eccentric, to put it in the best way that we possibly can, but had talents, had skills, he could do the job,
and was messing with Cersei for a long time,
and was trying to get on along with Cersei. Didn't necessarily work out for him in that because she wasn't choosing up at all at that time. But we're going to go ahead and call that Odell Beckham Jr., a brother who's a little flamboyant, a little charismatic. Let's say that. Flamboyant is an assault level word. He's a charismatic brother, but he's got a lot of talent. And Loris Tyrell could swing the sword until they locked him away, and he caught them flames too, and seriously got rid of everybody.
He became the part of the what was it,
The Sparrows.
Yeah,
and all
they
that
were
stuff.
called
They were called something. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever. What was a bigger kill scene? Cersei blowing up the Sept, or Michael Corleone taking out his enemies?
The Sept, man.
The Sept was crazy,
dude. And it was like, cause everybody was in that bad boy. Like it was like.
It was nuclear, dog.
Yeah, and he took out almost half of King's Landing too.
Right.
Like fuck it, I still got the power though. 50 Cent.
Let's hit a couple of people before we start heading north here. Now, I want to hit a couple more people here. Tommen Baratheon, who took over for his brother Joffrey, who we'll get on here in a couple of minutes here. Tommen Baratheon is 21 Savage.
And we made that a direct connection to Hammer Rose. He just want to be down with somebody fine. Like, I'm the king now. I'm number one.
Tommen was like, I'm just gonna use this. I'm gonna use these abilities, and I'm just gonna take all this privilege and do what I need to do with it.
And until the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
I'm in love with her too.
Until everything catches up with me.
And he's sitting out there with like, still trying to get her and having a bouquet of flowers.
Yo, the only thing about Tommen though is that Tommen bitched up a little bit though, because Tommen wouldn't go get his. He wouldn't put his hand down, put the fist down of the king. And Jamie tried to tell him, "You're the king. You don't have to answer to anybody."
Neither they were saying like she broke up with him.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's the. I mean, brothers get broke up with, but I mean, it happens every day. Happens every day. But so we got that, and who we got next here? Who's the other guy? Qyburn. That's your guy. Qyburn is the crooked maester, the one that's bringing people back to life and
downstairs, and working steadily with Cersei, and that is Ben Carson.
Yeah, Ben Carson doing inside dirty work. Betraying the people, going against the cause.
Just sitting there like, we finna do
it. Yeah, that's Ben Carson all day. Just imagine Ben Carson in that little black robe down there in his little lab, finding ways to betray black people even further. It's probably what he's doing right now while we're recording this. Shout out to you, Ben Carson, you inside worker. Who else we got here that's down south? Before we start going up north. Yeah. All right, man, let's do this. The High Sparrow.
High Sparrow, man. This one's going to be the great Creflo Dollar.
Yeah.
Making you think it's something spiritual, but he getting that paper or getting that power from you. Shout out to Creflo, get your thing.
Condemning you
at every turn.
Giving you a little bit of that shame in case you ain't got enough right now.
Why he need a brand new horse.
Yeah. So I mean,
in this case, he said he needed a brand new planes.
So it's it's a thing get you jammed up, and he'll jam you up and then leave you out there to deal with it yourself. So all right, let's start moving up north to northwest Westeros, and start hitting a couple of people along the road on the way up that way. Let's see, who can we hit next? Who can we stop through next? Let's. Well, I'm gonna save him for. I'm gonna save the other Baratheon for later. Actually, let's hit the whole Baratheon clan right now. Let's just do the whole thing. So let's start off with Robert Baratheon, the dispatched king of Westeros.
Jermaine Jackson? Not Jermaine Jackson.
No, that's Stannis you're talking about. Robert Baratheon is notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, man. Overzealous a little bit with where he thought he was, and then got caught slipping and was taken out, and everything continued to stay in disarray. From another person that we're going to have named, him dying, put all of Westeros in disarray. Yeah,
like things fell out. Like he caused the commotion, and the commotion was based around him, but then he died in the middle of it, and it really got out of order. That's Robert Baratheon all day. And the person that you just mentioned, his brother, Stannis Baratheon, who is absolutely Joe Jackson, without a doubt. He sent his only daughter up to get burnt up because some crazy witch lady told him that, hey, this is what we own. We need this power. We need to get this, and it can only come from you and your bloodline.
He's like looking all around. Like,
And he's looking around. You know what? My bloodline is the best bloodline. Let me go out here and get this.
Remember, he said how much you need.
Yeah. Who do you need me to give up? You need Tito. You need who? Only one you can't have is Michael. Well, you can have Michael.
Too. Depends how much.
You could just burn up Michael's blackness, but we want to keep Michael the person. But you can sacrifice his blackness. I can see Joe Jackson being behind something like that and making that happen. So there's a lot of lines to draw for Stannis Baratheon being Joe. Like Stannis Baratheon, Joe Jackson ain't about no games. No. I don't think Stannis Baratheon smiled that entire show.
He didn't. Maybe once or twice, but that was
like he was compassionate in waves, but he was really just about getting what was his. And even if it wasn't his, he was gonna get it still, even if it was his sons and his kids. So, who we got next?
All right, next up. We have.
Well, we gotta go to Renly.
Oh, Renly.
We gotta go to Renly next. We gotta hit all these Baratheons at once. Let's just get them all out the way.
JoJo Simmons.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers, JoJo Simmons had a fledgling rap career, then was also snatched up for his chain and caught on videotape, and they also put him on videotape telling him to say that he's not hard anymore.
No.
That he ain't about this life. They have him on videotape, snatched up by the collar of his hoodie.
Can you really? I mean, Renly did get killed by a shadow ghost that got sent from Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
So Joe Jackson killed JoJo Simmons with a shadow ghost that looked like him.
That's what these were shadow ghosts that killed his career.
Damn. The power of the chain, dog. He took that chain off and turned into Melisandre.
Oh, because he lost all that ability he had.
Uh-huh. He got jammed up. So speaking of that, then let's get to the Red Woman, Melisandre. And
Erykah Badu.
I mean, I don't know if there's any better fit.
So I'm picturing in my mind like these people as black people, like ever since we cast it. It
like,
would be hilarious.
I can't think of a better fit than Melisandre to be Erykah Badu. I mean, Erykah Badu put a hex on like 5 rappers and like had them wearing like orange pants and like
that's real.
Singing about different things. Like she changed Andre 3000's entire way of existing. Like she did something to that boy, and I think we've seen since then proof of the pudding about how that happened. So. God bless you, 3 Stacks.
Next up, since we keeping it a little bit, let's keep it in the offspring of the Baratheons. Gendry,
my man. Gendry's my guy, man, too, because Gendry's swinging that hammer. They came back down. Davos came down there to pick him up. He was like, I've been ready to go. Let's go.
I've been training for these last few years.
I'm good to go. Let's ride. I ain't got nothing here.
Steph Curry.
He gotta be Steph Curry, dog. Like
Always
you never.
ready?
And here's the case. Here's the case for Steph Curry, man. Is like yes, Steph Curry's easy money sniper with the shot. Easy money sniper with the shot. Yeah. He always is ready for action. You know what I'm saying? But when Steph Curry blew up on the scene, like he had been there for a minute. Like it was like his 3rd or 4th year.
Gendry been sitting out there too for a minute.
Yeah.
As that blacksmith on the low.
And Gendry's a 100% bastard sitting out there, and he's like, yeah, you know, I am who I am. But then you look at Gendry and they say, man, he looks exactly like Robert, like a young Robert. So he got a lot of spirit. He got that young Robert spirit before he started just drinking ale.
Before Robert became a sucker for love.
Right, and became a pure alcoholic at the same time. So shout out to my man Gendry. I think Gendry gonna do some damage this year. It's gonna be a good year for him.
Ooh, I just thought about the way we set up another character, and it looks crazy. It just hit me. Can I dive into it?
Have fun, brother.
Rhaegar Targaryen.
Rhaegar.
Tupac.
Yeah.
The legend of him.
Yeah.
Has fueled everything that's in hip hop to this day going forward.
Like if Rhaegar Targaryen was really a real dude and he was black, there'd be so many T-shirts of Rhaegar Targaryen out there.
Yeah. And on top of that, the whole beef happens over a girl, just like with Biggie and Tupac with Faith.
Yeah.
That just hit me with Lyanna Stark.
Yeah. And shout out to Lyanna Stark because she's the Crispus Attucks of this world, where the first shot hit her and several wars got launched over this woman. Just like Crispus Attucks stepped out the club back in 1776 or 72 or whatever, got clipped, and we said, oh, no, that's it. That's the last time that a bunch of white people rose up and fought for black people in America.
Actually, it was like a couple of people got shot after that, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think they said his body laid out there in the grass for a while.
He got reconned. We'll get to recon later. They definitely forgot about Crispus Attucks. They probably just looked like, oh.
Did we shoot him?
Like, damn.
Was he with us or with them?
So you saying that Crispus Attucks got shot and they was like, oh. And then somebody else got shot and they're like, oh, hell no.
100%.
Oh, man. Well, that's not Liana, but Liana is the Crispus, because we don't know the other dude's name. No. Crispus Attucks lives on in fame because of it. So we got that down. Let's start to head out to.
You go above the wall?
No. That's last. That's next to last. Okay. We're gonna go out to.
A little bit east again.
Let's go west.
Okay.
Let's go west. No, you want to go to the Iron Islands?
Yes,
or do you want to go west? That's further north, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying like north. It's north.
Well, let's go over to the Mother of Dragons. Let's go over to where she's moving over from. Okay. So let's get started with that.
So the far east then.
I thought that was the west. No, it's the far east. You're right.
Yeah,
let's go far east. Let's go to far east. Who do you want to start with on that side?
Let's go.
Let's go with the player of the times. Actually, no. Let's just go to the top. Let's go to the top and work our way down. So, for one of the first big reveals of the day here, we gave you Arya Stark earlier on. We gave you Jaime Lannister earlier on. Jaime Lannister was LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Arya Stark was Andre 3000. But let's go to probably the second most popular character on the show. First or second? Third? Okay.
I love Tyrion, man.
That's true. But I feel like there's the women vote though enjoys this side.
Women love Tyrion too.
Yeah, that's true.
Tyrion could be between him and Jon Snow is neck and neck on the low. So Daenerys is
Barack Obama, man.
The mother of us all.
The mother of dragons is the father of black people, bro.
People just meet him and believe in him.
Hey, man. She's inspired more people than anybody with the exception of Barack, it seems like.
It's like people only believe John after he does something.
Yeah, like John can't even talk about all the amazing stuff he's done, but Daenerys ain't got no problem showing it.
Let them dragons show up.
You believe
everything. You don't even have to hear the story.
Exactly. And those dragons, we'll get into those dragons in a second. But, you know what I'm saying, like she's riding around, she got a Joe Biden with her, you know what I'm saying? She's hitting the streets, you know what I'm saying? That Joe Biden, you know what, actually, you gonna make an
audible right here?
I'm gonna make an audible. And we would bring one white person in because Joe Biden is about to be the next person. Yeah, so Joe Biden is about to be the delegate de la Black for the next 2 years as everybody puts their support behind him trying to be the hope to take back the White House. So in a way, Joe Biden,
a whole nation of people.
Joe Biden's gonna be the one brother who's not a brother who's on this side of Westeros, on West Westeros with us.
What's y'all?
So if the mother of dragons is Barack Obama, then Jorah Mormont, her advisor, is Joe Biden. Like, they homies, they super close. You know, you could tell that Joe Biden kind of always wanted to hug Barack Obama in public, but he couldn't do it. Like, it was like, hey, man, it's all good. But later on, we can chill and, like, be ourselves, smoke some Black and Milds and stuff like that. And drink wine, drink some ale together if you over there and all of that.
It should be Davos, man. I mean, not Darius Naharis, maybe.
No, man, because that's a whole different thing. They're not that close. Right. But I'm just saying, like, on an advice standpoint and standing in when needs to stand up, you know, that's it. So the mother of dragons is Barack Obama. She inspires people. She's got no problem with unleashing force when she needs to. Barack Obama was very, very quick to pull the trigger with the drone attacks. Dany Targaryen is very quick to pull the drone attacks with the 3 dragons. Yeah. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff here. Dany's about equal rights. She don't really see the color in folks. She's just all about people having their opportunity. But
she'll still drop them nukes on
But she'll still drop down and get it and end you if she needs to. And just like when Barack went and got Obama, when Barack went to go get Osama bin Laden, I should say, Dany went and got the Tarleys and roasted them.
And didn't he get Saddam Hussein too?
Yeah, he did all that. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he went to go get everybody. Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing. Like, Obama was not sparing anybody.
We had a question mark at Jorah Mormont. It was originally going to be Drake, but that's better.
Yeah,
in that situation there, and then Drake. We got everybody in there. Oh, let's get somebody that's still in that camp now. We debated this one pretty heavy. Tyrion, Jay-Z.
Yeah. So we did that. Well, before we do that though, I want to hit the rest of her forces.
Well, no, he's in the camp. I said.
Well, I guess he's the hand of the king. Yeah. So I mean, you take Tyrion's Jay-Z in my book.
Jay-Z. Yeah. I mean, you can't get him down. He's not the most attractive, but he's always got women. People love him. People listen to him, and even when like Nas had him down, he was able to battle back. Every time you think you got Tyrion counted out, he's back at you.
Yeah, I mean,
He
that's
got out of jail from being with the Starks. Remember when they caught him slipping with that? Bronn got him out of 2 different duel to the deaths, right?
yeah, like he,
Trial by combats.
like he's on the Jigga Kelly not guilty tip right now.
So today's Z is Tyrion. So we're gonna stay over there with them.
All right, so we need to go to the
Missandei,
forces though. We got to go to the forces.
Missandei.
We got to go to the forces, man.
I was saying Missandei. We're gonna stay in the court.
Oh, I forget her name. Confuses me with the other lady's
Missandei,
name is the same
Missandei.
way. Yeah.
Gayle
So that's
King, man.
so she's the fine black woman on the show.
Yeah.
I know we don't remember who she is.
But you know she's the fine one with curly hair
Yes.
that messes with the Grey Worm.
Yes.
That's Missandei, Gayle King.
yeah. Like she's
Great support system.
a hell of a support system.
Gonna give you. Look. Gayle has basically become Oprah for Oprah, a by proxy of Oprah.
Yeah, she's become like the
Like her
hand
stunt
of
double.
she's the hand of the queen to Oprah.
Yeah, exactly. We couldn't get Oprah here, people. We really tried to too, but
Yeah.
it was too easy. It was too good for Barack Obama to be.
Yeah, it just makes too much sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you were saying runner-up would be Oprah is.
I mean,
Damn.
but there's drone attacks though. Oprah's never authorized drone attacks. At least
Never.
I don't think so.
Well, she might did it.
She might drop some new cars on some people or something.
But no, I'm talking about probably in the industry. And she ain't dropped some news like you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that.
Oh well, yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing too. And then Dario, what's the dude's name?
No horrors.
Dario Naharis, who was Danny's side boo thing until she had to go off and get a suitable person over in Civilization.
Who was Jay-Z who ended up hating on it, saying that you shouldn't have no side dude when you get the roll up in Westeros.
That's right. That's true. That's true. Danny is really at the player of Game of Thrones. She's made her way through the entire.
But if you notice, the situation with Jon is the first one that she naturally picked.
That's true.
All the other ones have been kind of orchestrated. Or remember, she kind of messed with Homeboy because she needed something from him. She wanted to kind of get those Brotherhood. What was it? The Brotherhood of Arms that he was a part of.
Yeah.
She wanted to get them with that and keep him on board. So it was a little bit. This is the first time she's actually made her own decision with Jon.
Yeah, that's real. So I mean, that's the other guy. We
That's
got
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J, man.
You can't. I mean, he's always there. He's attractive. He don't lose because Dahario ain't lost no battles either.
No.
But you forget about him. You leave him and forget how dope he was.
Well, he was
People forget how dope he was as a fighter. And
Yeah,
stuff.
he was a college boyfriend. You know, like he was somebody you wasn't gonna take home for the holidays, but you know when you went back to school, you was gonna have a
You
good
weren't
time.
taking him into grad school with you.
Absolutely
It was only at the summer. Your girls were like, oh, he kind of cute, girl.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no, you don't take that. So there's a few people that are left that are gonna be really truly be a part of the Game of Thrones.
We're gonna stay out east though.
Before we do that, we're going to turn the corner into that in a second and get some of the biggest characters that you know. Grey Worm and the Unsullied. Grey Worm will be played by the part of Nas in this one, with the Unsullied being the Nation of Islam in full.
And it makes sense if you get those both
Now,
together.
and this is no shot against the Nation of Islam
no.
at
We
all.
saying they ain't
Because
no
we
joke.
talking about, we ain't talking about how they showed up. We talking about when they show up, action is getting taken. And if you get out of line, you get
Action
put
is
back in
taken.
your place. Yeah.
And they do stuff with no questions.
None.
No questions. You needed to be done. Let's do it.
Yeah. All
Let's
day.
make it happen. You need us to protect your concert. We'll do it as long as there ain't no alcohol being served. We'll protect it. That's one of the stipulations.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, dude, they will do all that stuff for you. They have no questions answered. They kill you first or knock you down and ask questions later after the minister walk up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real thing.
You know, so same thing. You try to walk up on Danny like that. Oh no, you finna come on. You ain't even made it to where Great Worm at. It's probably cats that got knocked out. We don't even know about this. Been on that way on the outside of the camp. You know what I'm saying? It's then walked by and caught some strays, some stray spirits, and he was walking his sheep. He just got too close.
Yeah, you got too close.
That Secret Service don't play that.
You too close, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, somebody just threw a spear without even asking the question.
So I don't know exactly where we're at on the map right now with this one, but we gotta just mention him right now. So we gotta go to the faceless man himself, Jaqen Hagar. Now, if you recall, when Arya went to
He's
Arya,
everywhere, so I guess it doesn't matter where we.
yeah, it doesn't matter where we're at. He's all places at once. But when Arya went to what's the name of that place that he
She
was
went
in?
to jail with Roose Bolton.
No, not jail. I'm talking about when she went to.
Oh, you talking about she went to where the Iron Bank is at?
Yeah, what's the name of that place? Bravos.
Bravos.
When she went to Bravos, and she had a coin from a guy earlier that was just a part of. He saved her a few times from.
Then she saved him.
Yeah,
from being in jail.
Exactly.
Which was interesting. Of like he could have saved himself.
Yeah, he could have, but I think he was putting her to the test.
Yeah.
To try to get her into the fold.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jockin' Hagar is going to be 2 Chainz. Because
tell me that he's not.
Because 2 Chainz has been 2 completely different people, and for the longest time, people did not know that they were
the same
one
person.
and the same. And there's probably some people out there now that didn't know that 2 Chainz was Titty Boy at the time.
I guarantee you, 50% of his fans don't even know that.
Yeah,
or they didn't know until they went to Wikipedia.
That there's no connection between them at all. No, none of it.
Not at all. They just know I'm riding around and I'm getting it.
Right.
That's all they know is I'm riding around and I'm getting it.
So Jockin' Hagar, the faceless man, is 2 Chainz because 2 Chainz has multiple faces and multiple characters that he just lives his life as.
Let's go to the Iron Islands, man, for a second, man.
Let's head up there.
All right. Yara Greyjoy, she was supposed to be the first queen ever of the Iron Islands. I'm going with Ellen.
Ellen DeGeneres is the queen of the Iron Islands.
Dude, she runs it, man.
She does.
Shout out to my boy Nell, man. He went on Ellen, and he said that they tell you before he was on the show with his wife, and they tell you don't look into her eyes because her eyes are too beautiful and you'll get caught up in them. He said they tell you that before you go on stage.
Wow.
And he said, I did. He said, I did. He said, if you watch me, I got caught up because her eyes are beautiful.
And so Ellen was walking in, dropping that game on these chicks.
Dude, no, he was like, he said the lower echelons of him wanted to be like, hey, what's popping, Ellen?
It's not gonna work.
Right, I know, but he knew that, but he said like her eyes are so beautiful and it captivates you. He was like, I almost threw caution to the wind and just said it.
You shoot your shot. I mean, you're gonna miss. It's gonna rim out. It might just air out. It might just.
Ellen don't play that shit either, though, man. She's been a ground fighter for everything that's going on.
Yeah, Ellen don't play no games.
She don't play no games like Yara Greyjoy either, man.
So also, but while we're gonna deal with the Greyjoys, let's go over to Balon Greyjoy, her father, who got thrown off of a bridge and who was a rather salty cat to say the least. He's Rich Porter.
Yeah, and this is for all the people. We go back to the Harlem people. Rich Porter was somebody that was dope, flossing, and remember when he came back from jail, he was a little bit salty, but he still was the man. And then his brother, Euron Greyjoy, came, took all his bricks, and killed him.
Yeah, and was even stunning even harder than he might stunt harder than anybody on that entire show.
Oh, talking about
Euron. I'm talking about Euron Greyjoy.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I don't think anybody
they
stunts
don't even
harder
like in the
than him.
books, man. He even stunts even harder in the books. He got like purple hair and stuff.
Yeah,
like he's a full on stunner.
Yeah, and because of that, the role of Euron Greyjoy in this universe will be played by none other than Floyd Mayweather Jr.
At first we wanted to keep it in continuity and put his Alpo, but we couldn't do it.
No,
because Floyd Mayweather has to be this.
It needs to be Floyd. Like this in this particular moment, that needs to be Floyd. And that leaves us with one more Greyjoy, the more disgraced Greyjoy, if you will, the one who doesn't have all of who he was once upon a time.
But it seems to stay around though.
Yeah, he can.
Like this person stays around and within the lexicon.
He takes a beating too.
But he stays around.
Yeah, he sticks.
Ja Rule.
Theon Greyjoy will be played by the role of Ja Rule.
Because remember, Theon had his little rise. It was a whole season almost where he was running Winterfell. After Winterfell, it was kind of. And Ja Rule, another thing about Ja Rule is that he has lost his balls, as they would say when 50 Cent took him off.
Fair.
Still came back around and went to jail for tax evasion. Mm-hmm. No, he went to jail first for having a gun in New York City where you used to legally have a gun. Then went to jail for tax evasion. And came back out every time and was still around us in our conversations.
Yeah. But all the while, even when he's on, getting disrespected by other people too, just like Theon. Constantly. Put to the test, losing the test, now getting disrespected by lots of people at one time, but yet he still is around.
And thought he had the greatest idea to start the Fire Fest and go out to the east and help out Danny, which wasn't a bad idea on paper.
Not a bad idea at all. No.
But he didn't think it all the way through that Euron then had most of the fleet on their back.
And that's fair.
It was in a thought out plan. It sounded like the Fire Festival sound great on paper.
Yeah.
it wasn't all the way thought all the way out.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So the role of Ja Rule will be there. We got a few people. We'll speed through here, and then we're gonna get to some of the main people here. We're just gonna mention these. You got questions about it, highlight us about it. Playing the role of Liana Mormont from the Bear Islands is Cardi B.
Yep.
Just a boss hog chick that ain't taking nothing off of nobody. She fits in perfect into that spot. Playing the role of Ollie, who stabbed Jon Snow finally in the chest, who looked up to Jon Snow in a big way. He is Eric Garner, who killed Nipsey Hussle. Keep that in mind as we go down the road. Playing the role of the king beyond the wall, Mance Raider, and that's Master P.
We got to stop with that because people will be like, what? He sold tapes out of the trunk, which is basically gathering all those people outside the wall because those wildlings weren't together at first. He basically started selling tapes out of the trunk and figured out a way to make his own tribe and his own money. And made it all the way to Platinum Records and had a whole army attacking the wall and trying to go into Westeros and get his people some land.
Yeah. And that's Master P. That's just basically what Master P did from Oakland to New Orleans, to Houston, to everything. That's Master P. He took the journey doing that. Playing the role of Osha, who escorted Bran and Rickon Stark through the North as long as she could. Harriet Tubman.
Delivered them.
Did whatever it took to get her where she's at until Ramsay Bolton got a hold of her. Who else do we have here that we could hit on the fast scrolling?
Talking about over there towards the wall. Let's go to Benjen.
Yeah, all right. So playing the role of Benjen Stark, who will be doing two different things in this, both alive and not quite alive, is Ice Cube. I mean, he was the first Ranger of the Night's Watch, which is essentially Ice Cube with the curl and the skull cap on, where it's like you one of the coldest people, and then you end up being something completely different, but you come out of nowhere and still let people know that you cold. So basically, it was Benjen Stark was Ice Cube on the BET Awards when he hopped in that cypher, and people was like, "Oh shit, Cube still got it."
He back, but he's like, "But I can't stay though."
Yeah, I'm not here to do this full time anymore because I got a lot of other stuff I got to do. So like that's who Benjen Stark is now. So shout out to Benjen Stark as O'Shea Jackson / Ice Cube, and the Ice Cube makes even more sense because he way north of the wall now. Like they put the thing in his heart and turned him into like low key a White Walker.
Yeah.
So, but he got to keep who he is. He got that White Walker formula version 2, the remix, a little bit. All right, so now we are like Winterfell, and with the Starks and with the people that I think the people that are more loved than anybody else here on the show. One more person to hit real quick before we get up there with them. Davos Seaworth, who has been both with Stannis and has been with Jon. So we can hit him on the turnaround here.
Yeah.
Davos Seaworth is
Slim Charles from the Wire.
Davos
Super
is
loyal.
Davos is so unique. We had to use another character from a different show to describe him.
There's nobody like him.
There's nobody else like either
There's
one.
nobody that's been on either side and been super loyal, and both sides aren't mad that he left them because they understand what he had to do.
Yeah.
And he has a great moral compass.
Yeah.
And you want him as a soldier.
And he's like, I'll just do whatever we need to do. If I need to go all the way to King's Landing. Like, yo, he sent Gendry off in a boat and then
went back and got him.
And then went back. That's like a 2-month trip.
Because we didn't know what happened to Davos for like half a season.
Bruh, that is a journey when there's no airplanes and no cars or nothing. That is a journey.
Go get. Nobody knew who he was going to get either. He's like, I'm going to go get somebody.
I'm going to get somebody. I'll be right back in a few. Or I won't. One way or the other.
Since we're in King's Landing though now, let's go with.
Let's go
with someone that protected the Stark's children.
Well, before we do that, let's go to the people that. No, we can go to people that caused the trouble.
Okay, so we're going into King's Landing now.
No, we don't have to go to King's Landing yet. Let's go with the because let's talk about how the trouble happened. So the Starks were over Winterfell, but then they had to get out of there. Robb had left to go avenge his pops.
Right, and then Theon came in and took over
but Theon secretly behind that happening, his daddy was like, I don't want no part of this, and then set him up, and then the Boltons hopped in.
And he gave him up to the Boltons because the Boltons were still down with the Starks at that time. And
the Boltons are Roose Bolton, who was the Lord of the Flayed Men or whatever it was up there, and that's Snoop Dogg. OG, kind of relaxed. You don't never really see him get up, but he got that trouble in him.
But he's been on multiple record labels.
Exactly.
He's been on multiple record labels.
Exactly.
No disrespect him with that, but I'm saying, but he has a great moral compass. It's like Roos. Roos has seized the opportunity and be like, okay, it's time for me to better come up. We ready to do a little bit more, move this Bolton name up a little bit. Y'all gonna give me Winterfell? Bet.
Yeah. So I mean, he ends up being like he's kind of had to jump around. He had to jump around for some reasons. But we'll get back to the other half of the Boltons because we got to get to the betrayal that put them in play. So Roose Bolton is over that. That's Snoop Dogg around here. But the let's finally get into the let's get into the Starks here. There's a few people.
Didn't do Ygritte.
Well, but that's north of the wall.
Yeah, but we did Mance already. That's what we already did Mance.
Well, we'll just put her on the
that's fine.
credits. We'll just put her on the credits. At this point, we're into the good part of the story. The other people like that can get skipped now at this point. So, so the Starks are going like this, with the exception of we're going to do the true Starks. Starks in name. Ned Stark is Martin Luther King, dog.
Yeah, he died for everybody, man. He didn't know it was gonna happen either.
Hey, man, he was about principles. He was about peace. He was about
didn't know that switcheroo was happening behind the scenes.
Hey, he was so locked in on the peace that he ain't see the evil approaching the right way. He got jammed up and he died for his principles, same way MLK did. But hey, he's still revered. You can't go too far without hearing about MLK, just like you can't go too far without hearing about Ned Stark. If there were days in Westeros, there would be a Ned Stark day where the banks would be closed.
It probably is one actually in Winterfell.
There probably is one in Winterfell. Yeah, there's probably
they
one.
got the whole crypt down there with all the former rulers down there.
That's right. And so Ned Stark is a power broker in this thing. So let's get to the rest of the power brokers. We're gonna go through all of them right now. Tywin Lannister, he was Michael Jordan, man.
See, I disagree with this one. I said he was Baby of Cash Money.
See, I don't think the baby got the reach and got the pure. Michael Jordan about that cash, period.
Baby isn't?
I know. Baby's about that stunting. Michael Jordan is about that strategy. And Michael Jordan's legacy has way deeper roots than Baby on Cash Money. Not even close. Michael Jordan's one of the four pillars of 80s African Americanism. Baby is not that to the 2000s or the 90s.
Yeah, but Baby owned the most three popular artists at the same time.
I get it. Michael Jordan is still selling shoes that came out 30 years ago and re-upping and keeping the Jordan name going on credit. And he's bought NBA teams. He's bought a piece of Nike. Michael Jordan has infinite credit.
He does.
In it. And but at the same time, everybody know Mike don't be tuned in on the misuse,
No,
though.
he don't.
Mike really out here to move shoes, move
And
merchandise.
that's why Ty didn't understand that game was changing on him, too.
And sell that Jordan name. And then before you know it, he got jammed up. And Jay-Z shot an arrow through his heart while he was on the toilet. Jay-Z shot Michael Jordan through the heart with an arrow.
Yeah.
And then got out of town. With
Barack Obama.
No, he linked up with Barack eventually, but he was he left town with Wendy Williams. Jay-Z got smuggled out by Wendy Williams.
Which is ironic. And then caught up with his other homeboy, Varys, who would be his
That's Wendy Williams, yeah.
But I'm talking about then got there with Jorah.
Oh, with Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
He hooked up with Joe Biden eventually, yeah. So going back through a couple more of the power players here, we're gonna go through the Stark children, the Stark wife. We'll go to the wife. We'll go to Catelyn Stark. It's Jada Pinkett, man.
100%.
She got all of them. She got all of them strong characters like Jada Pinkett. We'll ride with you. We'll put some issues on blast that you need to hear, and hopefully Jada ends up with a better end than Catelyn does. But let's go through each one of the Stark children now. Robb Stark. Robb Stark will be getting played by the role of, where'd Robb go? He's in here somewhere. Oh, Robb Stark played the role of Malcolm X in this thing. Because Robb Stark heard about injustice happening and he was like, "No, we ain't finna talk." Like my old dude was about that talking and about that strategy.
I ain't about that talking, boss.
That ain't me, dog. Even if it ends up getting me clipped, I ain't going for it that way.
He rolled out immediately.
Yes.
Like I think he found his dad died and was like, and pulled the flag up to get everybody together.
Like Robb Stark put on some hooping shorts and the shoes that was closest to him and headed out.
And grabbed his
He put a hoodie on and grabbed a sword and was like, "We out. We riding on these
now."
Sansa Stark. This is you. You did this. Sansa Stark. You take Sansa
Stark, man. It's Kevin Durant. You can't tell me Kevin Durant. He was a darling at first. He was maybe a little bit naive to what's going on, and then the game changed up on him. He decided to become a stone cold person in this game of the NBA and this business, and knew that nobody really cared about him. That it was all about what he had to do for himself and his family, his people.
I mean, and that's Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant is about to get even worse too, because this summer he's gonna become the ultimate enemy because he's gonna go to another place.
We'll see how Sansa looks in this season. We'll see if Kevin Durant, aka Sansa.
When you think of Sansa this year, you think of Kevin Durant. As we go through the NBA playoffs and Game of Thrones at the same time, realize that the plight of Sansa Stark and the plight of Kevin Durant
are intertwined.
Are one and the same. God damn. We already touched on Arya. She is Andre 3000. Mm-hmm. And then we will go down to Bran. And once again, this is another one of your creations, so I will leave it to you.
I think after I said it, he said it was probably the most brilliant thing I've ever come up with on this podcast.
This is the peak of your entertainment career. Jaden
Smith.
Yeah.
He be on something different. He's like clairvoyant. I remember when he was a kid, he was real joyful, just like Bran. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden he got real stoic and like deep and like
because the weights of the world started leaning on his
and
chest.
He was like, man, we got all this paper, but it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
That's what he was like. He was like, we got all this paper, but it don't mean nothing. You want to get on the microphone and say hi to everybody? You want to come over here, but then you can't say hi to everybody? Okay. So, like I said, shout out to my daughter who made a guest appearance here. But he is literally everything. Like, you go look at his Twitter. His Twitter talks like Bran.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I was looking at the stars, and have you ever been on the other side of the stars? Think about that. You'd be like, damn, shit.
Like, I don't want to.
Right, like that. Where are you at, brother?
I don't want to.
He wore a Batman costume to his prom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What is Bran be wearing? Just wearing a blanket.
Bran's basically wearing a sled for like 4 seasons in a row.
And don't even care when he's riding around. You just riding me around. Mm-hmm. And I can see Jaden being like that. Like, I mean, you're not my girlfriend. You're just the person I ride in the car with to the store.
Yeah, like really giving people that hardcore shrug.
Yeah, like, well, you pick me up, Jaden, but who's driving? Like, what?
Have you ever thought about, do cars care where they go to?
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck you talking about?
Pull over, but don't.
I know you're the first free black man, but goddamn.
All right, so we're going to hit a couple of people real quick here and then get back into the storyline here. Playing the part of Samuel Tarley, who is John's homeboy and is, just wise beyond his years and be hitting you with that knowledge that maybe you didn't even know was out there, is Kendrick Lamar. I could easily see Kendrick Lamar being the one black dude at the wall that's just dropping knowledge and knows, like that young ass wise old sage.
Mm-hmm. And they're sitting there like, I mean, you should be living like this, and why not?
And then and then speaking of Bran, we had to hit the three-eyed raven, who for our culture, the three-eyed raven for years has been telling us what's coming up and what's going on around us and what's happened in the past and why it all makes sense together. Is Spike Lee. Spike Lee sitting up in a tree on the sideline of a Knicks game.
Told y'all these white folks gonna be acting like this.
Yeah, they've been doing it. Watch, I've been trying to tell you, but y'all ain't been listening.
Them walkers is coming, and y'all know who the Night King is. I know you've been telling them who it is. We'll tell y'all momentarily if you don't know.
Exactly.
He's been telling y'all. Spike Lee has been telling y'all he want all the white women. So he's trying to clear out of Westeros to make room for white women.
So playing the part.
That's what the White Walkers in our generation do.
Oh, exactly. Playing the part of the Hound is Mike Tyson. Because it makes all the sense in the world, though, because Mike Tyson has had two very different lives. There was Mike Tyson, who was just brutalizing cats and women.
Just like he was.
Yes, and doing whatever he felt like doing, whatever was called to do, wherever the money was at, he was on that action. And then there's more peaceful Mike Tyson now, who roams the countryside with the Dipset.
And you know not to fuck with him, though.
But like that video that dropped of Mike Tyson putting them hands in.
It was like in a store. He was sitting there.
You need to be smart and know it's still in Mike Tyson. Yeah. So even though now he's smiling and he seems like he's a lovable guy and all this.
And he's doing his stage plays and all that.
The animal is still in there. And Mike Tyson will give it to you just like the Hound will. Playing the part of Joffrey Baratheon. Easily the most annoying person in the history of TV.
A member of the OJ No Scotland.
Kanye West.
It couldn't be nothing else.
No. Kanye West. You could insert Kanye into the show and have him be Joffrey, and I wouldn't notice the difference.
I think more black people on this show.
It seems a little darker, don't it? Yeah, it do.
Are you sure? I'd be like, are you sure? Okay, no.
I don't know. It look about the same to me. It seems about the same to me. So yeah, playing the part of Brianna Tarth, Remy Ma.
Yes. Don't get no fucks. She gonna ride out, and she's still gonna get what it do too, though.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. At some point she's gonna do that. Now we have a split character that we're gonna have to address a couple of different ways. Playing the part of the two creepiest people in TV is Walter Frey, is R. Kelly, who was marrying his own daughters repeatedly. And
or just young girls from the town.
Just young girls from town. Anybody that was born, any women that were born in the town belonged to Walter Frey. Mm-hmm. Just like R. Kelly felt about the south side of Chicago. And also being portrayed by R. Kelly in this world is Craster, who had a whole village of just his daughters and killed and sacrificed the boys so there would only be his daughters around him north of the wall. There's enough room for 2 R. Kellys in this messed up world.
He gets double checks.
Yeah. Twice the check.
He needs them too,
though. Now, before we get to, we have 2 special guests left, and then we have 3 power players. We need to get one person out of the way, and I'm gonna leave this one to you. Mm-hmm. Playing the part of Lord Peter Baelish, aka Littlefinger.
Y'all already know.
It's Jermaine Jackson.
Jermaine Jackson, man. You can't tell me Jermaine ain't. Man, Jermaine always behind the scenes doing something crazy. He backstabbed Michael. He backstabs his brothers. He's actually had a baby by Randy Jackson's baby mama. He's got 2 kids with her and they married her. So as people know, I have a high disdain for Jermaine Jackson. It was only one person that could be Littlefinger. It could be Jermaine Jackson. You think he was smart doing it behind the scenes?
Well, there's nobody slimier than Littlefinger, and there's definitely nobody slimier than Jermaine Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's nobody slimier than him, man. Even Bobby Womack is slimy, but not as slimy as that.
All right, so there's 2 people that are left out of this so far that everything could come down to. Now they've only shared 1 scene in the history of the entire show. Maybe 2. No, 1. There was no way that they were in one in the first episode. So first, Cersei Lannister. Now this was tough for us because this came down to 2 people. There was going to be 2 white people in Westeros, but we decided on 1. And we swapped.
And that was Joe Biden.
Yeah, it ended up being Joe Biden. So playing the role of Cersei is going to be Omarosa. Because it nearly was Donald Trump. Because the parallels are. But
also Omarosa. But it's funny. Omarosa's willing to burn shit down too, though, for her own benefit.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then try to like ingrain herself back into
for whatever purpose.
Whatever works for her. Whatever makes sense for her. She's about it. So Cersei Lannister is going to be playing that. I mean, the treachery. I'm sure Omarosa's not above giving it up to anybody that she feels like all. Whatever makes her happy, whatever advances what she's on.
It's probably many a brother on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
That's then.
Yeah.
Talk to her about whatever.
And then done all of that. So.
Did we get number 18?
We're gonna go to those. Those are gonna be last. 18? I guess we can do that.
I'm just saying before we get to the heavy ones.
So, Jon Snow had a very intense moment where he thought he was going to be able to rescue another member of his family, and that would have been Rickon Stark, who had maybe the most ridiculous moment in the history of the TV show.
Where he ran straight.
When he just didn't know how to bob and weave. And Ramsay Bolton shot an arrow through his back. And playing the part of Ramsay Bolton, we'll get to that in a moment here because I wanted to pit that right next to Jon Snow. But Rickon Stark is being played by Bow Wow today. Daryl's on a roll. This is all Daryl's.
You know you forgot about Bow Wow in the beginning. You're like, man, I want all them Starks to get back together and be happy. And you're like, man, Rickon was so cool and cute. And then after he died, you was like, all right, we finna get this Battle of the Bastards on. And we forgot all about him. Nobody ever thinks about the legacy of Rickon.
Yeah, it's
crazy. But they remember him at the beginning.
Yeah,
they remember all the Stark. You be like, for the first 3 seasons, you was where's the rest of the Stark brothers at and Stark sisters? I want them all back together. Since he dead now, and I don't think they got him down in the keep. They ain't did no barbecues for him. They ain't did nothing for him in representing.
No
Rickon.
hashtag. There ain't even no hashtag.
I think
for
they ain't
Rickon.
even. I ain't think they buried him at Winterfell.
And it's because everybody remembers that he just ran that straight 70.
He's like me, wasn't no Stark.
120-yard dash.
Like he wasn't no star. They was like, man, he ain't no star.
And got hammered up with that arrow, who was shot by Ramsey Bolton, who we have decided is Candace Owens.
Yes. Who just
Remind them all who Candace Owens is.
Candace Owens is the one that came up with the Rexit. It's like Rexit for like Democrats, where like basically what was the program in London where they're gonna try to keep out Muslims from
Brexit,
but there was gonna be Rexit for like black people. No, Blexit for black people getting out of the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. And she's also the one that was supposed to be influencing Kanye West in his thought process. The whole nine. So she said some comments in front of Congress about Southern. She said that the Southern strategy to keep black people from getting rights was a myth.
Yeah, that didn't. That's something that didn't occur, right? Like, you're a genius at this point. I mean, it's such a turncoat that we don't even know what to do with this one.
And her edges are bad as hell, though. Like,
yeah, see, that's a surefire sign of somebody who ain't with the culture, because our people ain't walking around like that.
Yeah, like her edges are all messed up, man. Like, and she, she's just a poison, man.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Ramsey was.
Yeah,
Ramsey was as thorough of a poison to the entire North as ever been seen. So this gets us down to who's looking like the definitive hero of the program. We'll see how the year goes for him. I think there's going to be a big swerve involving him this year. I think that it's going to be a bigger swerve and a more permanent one than we've ever seen before, and that's Jon Snow.
Oh, we're missing 39 and 40.
No, I skipped those on purpose.
Okay.
So it's we've only got 3 people left here at this point.
Yeah.
But Jon Snow is the definitive. I think the game has started to kind of parallel his story and where he's going. It's become a thing about who he is, and not just his fights and not just his battles and not just what he's about, but you getting behind him, you're rooting for him. He's come back from the grave. It's true that even death hasn't been able to like hold Jon Snow out of the equation.
Yeah.
So, and for that very reason, we're saying that Jon Snow is none other than Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
Who in death is having an even greater impact than he did in life. And that's Jon Snow. He did his time on the watch, but he made sure that his people was always taken care of. His focus was always on the North, and then on the Wall, and then on even adapting with the wildlands. I mean, like, he was always with people and was pro-people, even when it came at the expense of being ridiculed by his own folks. And then he ends up dying for that. He dies for what he believes in, right? He dies at a place that he had adopted as
like
being
John
his
at the
home.
Wall.
Exactly. No, I'm talking about John.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
so I mean, he dies at he dies in a place he adopted, being the Wall. That was his home. Now he's given up his home. He never felt like he had one in the first place. He never was all the way in. But he gave up his home only to be killed at his home. But then the thing about it is, you realize is that he dies for a petty reason that was somebody else's own agenda, and then he is resurrected. Now, in a very literal sense, this happened with Jon Snow's character, but with Nipsey Hussle,
Nipsey Hussle comes back. We got a whole
that's a whole.
We're talking about The
thing.
Walking Dead. We talking about a whole other show then.
Yes, but Nipsey Hussle's word has lived on. His message has lived on. The marathon continues. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
did you watch some of the funeral?
And he's still doing. I don't watch funerals, but I mean, he's doing the work still.
Yeah, he's doing it all.
And that's Jon Snow. That's the Jon Snow. That's the fighter. That's the guy who's out here trying to make things better for everybody else, no matter what the resistance is. And if he's got to hop off a horse and take on an entire army on his own,
he would
which
do
was
it.
like Nipsey taking on the hood and the police and the detractors and all these things all at one time, he's gonna do it.
And look, it's still cats back at the Wall that fight for Jon Snow right now. He's not even there. Same thing in the hood. Like, he ain't even there. And Pat's is like, yo, what would John do?
Uniting people that never united to fight together before. Nipsey was on that.
Yep.
and that's what Jon Snow is on too. So that's where we see Westeros. We got two final honorary shout outs here. Some of the most beloved things here. We can't forget about our boy Hodor, man.
Yeah, man.
We can't forget. Everybody love Hodor.
Hold the door.
Yeah, man. Hold the door. Hodor held it down for folks. Did what he needed to do. And nobody had anything bad to say about Hodor because they knew his mission. And that's why we say Hodor is Michelle Obama.
Yeah. Holding it down for all of us, man. Holding it down for the black men, black women, everybody. She got the biggest book going on right now. She's up here motivating people to do better with their lives. And she just been holding it down in general. When they go high, when they go low, we go high.
Exactly. Love for the people. And then finally, there's three dragons. If you've never seen the show even, you know there's 3 dragons out there. I mean, and I think in this universe they're named
Offset. Damn, I don't even. Oh, Takeoff, Offset, Takeoff, and Quavo, the Migos.
I knew you was good. I wanted to see you. I just wanted to see you admit that hip hop mention. That did something for me. Yeah, man, the Migos got to be the dragons. They come out of nowhere, all 3 of them, hit you with some hot fire, and end up catching the whole summer on flames. And then it's like, damn, I know a lot more of these songs than I thought I did. And you know them damn dragons, even if you don't know the show, you know them dragons.
One of them from time to time when Offset goes to jail.
Every once in a while.
So sometimes they're down to 2 dragons.
Every once in a while that has to happen. Yeah, you're right.
Offset goes to jail.
Yeah.
And we got one more, man. The Night King, OJ.
Oh. We'll go for
you know, the Night King. That's like Spike Lee was telling them that.
I thought we were talking about human beings still. The grand finale
is OJ, the Night King.
Is that now the wall is falling,
and OJ's bringing all them white women with him.
Which is the Mason-Dixon line. The wall in this world is along the Mason-Dixon line.
And all them white women that OJ wanted to bring with him is coming with him.
Doom, doom.
And there's a whole bunch of other he got some other guys with him. He got Clarence Thomas with him.
He's bringing all
those. And it's whites. And then you got other ICE.
You got ICE lieutenants and all sorts of stuff. O.J. Simpson now is closing in on West Westeros, threatening to make everything that we have here.
Think about it. O.J. versus Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, it could come down to O.J. versus
and Barack Obama.
Yeah. O.J. Simpson versus Nipsey Hussle and Barack Obama this season on Westeros.
West, y'all. Make sure y'all email straightlc@gmail.com. Let us know y'all thoughts.
We need to know your characters.
Yeah,
somebody else fit better in there. Somebody
we put in a lot of work on this, man. We put in a lot of work on this, so we definitely want y'all to see what y'all think. Let us know what y'all think. We will be back soon. Peace.